YouTuber Jake Paul is finally saying goodbye to the problem child era, and in doing so he has decided to sell his Calabasas mansion in California. Not only that, but he has also decided to leave California altogether and pursue a whole new life. We're going to spill all the tea for you right here on IO, but first I need you to tap that like button to show some love to the channel. And with that out of the way, let's just dive right into today's story.
And this isn't an easy video for me to make because the decision to move outside of California for me was a very tough decision.
Jake Paul has lived in his Team 10 mansion since he was 17 years old, and in that time a lot of content was filmed there, and you can tell that this move does not come easy for him. One of the main reasons that Jake Paul has decided to leave California is to focus on his boxing career, which if you've been paying attention is something that he should be concerned about. After winning his match with NBA player Nate Robinson, Jake started calling everyone out. He first placed his eyes on Conor McGregor, made that video offering him $50 million, and then he even dissed the man's wife. Then he began harassing Dylan Dennis, who was Conor's training partner. So if Jake is honestly considering a fight with people who are actual professional fighters, he's going to need to take this lifestyle seriously. The era of Jake Paul living in the Team 10 house is called the problem child era because that's exactly what Jake had embodied. He was partying, jumping on news vans, and overall just annoying the hell out of his neighbors, who I'm sure are very happy to see that for sale sign. In the video he posted to his YouTube page talking about why he would be selling his home, he says that while it won't be easy, his team, his friends, and his parents think that it's the right decision. After living in LA for almost 6 years, Jake has decided to begin a new chapter in his life, one where he is regarded as a legitimate pro fighter. However, as I've mentioned several times on this channel, the only real way for that to happen is for Jake to start fighting actual fighters. Although one thing he said in his video kind of struck a chord with me and made me realize that perhaps Jake Paul truly is becoming self-aware that this partying lifestyle is not sustainable in the long run. In the video he said, "Being in Los Angeles, there are so many distractions. There's so much going on, and it doesn't really allow me to focus on training." It certainly does not, and it's good that he is at least recognizing this now. Jake has just over 20 million subscribers on YouTube and primarily focused on vlogging and making music before he began his transition into boxing. Moving out of his $7 million mansion has most likely been in consideration for quite some time now. It's actually nice to see that he has finally outgrown some of the obnoxious stunts that he used to pull and is looking towards the future. In another part of the video he outlined what his goals would be following the move and said, "I have set many goals for myself throughout my life. This next goal is to become the biggest prize fighter in the world. That's a large shoe to fill, and the only way to step into it is to fully immerse myself as a legitimate fighter." Now, although he didn't say where he would be heading to next, he did hint at a few places that have become better influences for him. He mentioned that he had his eye on a number of places in Miami, but also added that he had spent some time in Las Vegas for training as well. Plus, there's always the allure of going back to your roots, which may actually be better for Jake Paul's growth as a fighter. If he really wanted to clean up his party lifestyle and become a more serious fighter, I would probably avoid Vegas and Miami, two cities that are notorious for their partying scenes. However, if he went back home to Ohio, that could completely flip the Jake Paul image that we've known for the last few years. Either way though, it really seems as though Jake Paul is taking this commitment to the sport of boxing seriously. You don't just decide to sell your home and move away on a whim. There must be something about boxing that is really pulling him in these directions, and honestly, as I've said many times already, this is probably the best decision Jake Paul has ever made for himself. But what are your thoughts on this story though? Do you think that this is a good move for Jake Paul? And with all of these influencers and celebrities leaving California, what kind of impact do you think that this is going to have on them? I'd love to hear what you have to say in those comments down below. And while you ponder that, let's check out some of your comments from the video titled "Experts Warn Super Gonorrhea on the Rise Because of This." Super Gonorrhea, my favorite superhero. Random Stranger says, "People weren't lying when they said that 2021 is the sequel to 2020. Yeah, it's literally 2021. If you don't get that, then I can't help you. Narav Ramdari says, "If anyone gets this STD, you weren't socially distancing properly." Facts, big facts. You can't get that from 6 feet away. You just can't. Kay says, "Wow, 2020 is really throwing everything it can at us just before 2021. Yeah, it wants to make sure it gets all the crazy out. Just get it all out now." Savannah Anderson says, "Just high five my husband. No super gonorrhea for us." I love it. I love to see it. Rosalind says, "Ugh, I don't need another reason not to touch anybody." This is big facts. First, you don't want to touch them because you don't want to get COVID. You don't want to get sick with germs. You don't, maybe if they're a messy person, they smell, so you don't want to touch them because of that. And now you don't want to touch them because super gonorrhea. What else is next? Lit Life with Lauren says, "I knew there was a reason I've stayed single for so long. What's another decade or so?" I can't even get through these comments today, guys. You are cracking me up. I love this, Lauren, and don't be too scared. You know, love is out there. You'll find it. Hopefully they won't have super gonorrhea. Ask that first, actually. And Geert says, when you said the first thing you can do to protect yourself, my brain finished it as wear a condom. Well, that too. Always wear a condom. That is the first thing you can do. Actually, the first thing you can do to protect yourself is abstinence. But we all know you're not going to do that, so wear a condom. Sarah Toomey says, don't jinx the Super Hornets. I know who manifested it now. Yeah, y'all were really mad that I had that throwaway line about Super Hornets. I'm putting this out there now. No Super Hornets will exist in 2021. You heard it here first. Thank you so much for watching today's video though, guys. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube.